You're more likely to see cats playing snooker than a bad NXT takeover. Do we continue that proud tradition on the Oregon Trail? Or are we about to see some Persians pop the white? Let's find out together. My name is Tom Campbell, and this is NXT TakeOver Portland Graded. We kick off with the North American Championship. Keith Lee defending the belt against sworn rival and top friendo Dominik Dijakovic. Dijakovic is wearing a Kobe Gigi Bryant shirt, and Keith Lee has himself a Daniel Mabry shirt honouring Coach Mabry tonight. Some class from both of those gents to get us started. Keith Lee hits a Hurricane Rana about a minute in, so we know it's going to be a good one. In previous matches with these lads, I feel like we have gone almost immediately to those high rent district spots. The difference with this is they built to it a bit more. They did a little bit less and got a little bit more because of it. It's like the crowd just ate up like the power shows between Keith Lee and Dijakovic as we got started. Don't worry, they did the top rope stuff. We see an incredible top rope feast your eyes from Dominik Dijakovic onto the champ that gets a 2.99999. Late in this match, we see a bit which I do believe bends the space-time continuum somewhat, as Dominik Dijakovic is about to get chokeslammed by Keith Lee, and he does a backflip out of it. Dijakovic goozles Lee, goes for a chokeslam on Keith. Keith backflips out of it, hits a spirit bomb on Dijakovic, who rolls backwards and lands on his feet from it. And you just see Keith Lee just going, what? Baffled. Hits another spirit bomb. 2.999 for Keith. In the closing moments of the match, it looks like Dijakovic could easily walk away with his first championship in NXT with a top rope Spanish fly. Doesn't get the win with that. Tries to go for a feast your eyes, but he's just too cream crackered from the match. And Keith Lee capitalizes with the Big Bang catastrophe for the 1, 2, 3, retaining his championship in the opening match. This was an A+. This was probably the best match these two have had together. It's been a right old road with these two, but I feel like on the biggest stage, they changed up the game a little bit. They did, as I said at the beginning, they did at some points a little bit less and got a lot more because of it. A big fan of this. Great way to start the show. It's an A+. Street fight next. It's Tegan Nox facing sworn enemy and former friendo Dakota Kai. Kai attacks Nox on the way to the ring, and this match is officially underway in the rampway. And these guys just batter each other all around the ring. Dakota Kai at one point goes all Ian Botham, grabs a cricket bat. Looks like she's going to break the bat over Nox's head, but Nox just ducks out of the way and avoids it. Nox retaliates by putting a dustbin lid on on Dakota Kai's head and doing a cannonball into it. Just bouncing poor Kai's head from the bin into the steps behind her. Oh, it looked horrible. This match was really aggressive, and it needed to be. I don't like those grudge matches that start with like headlocks and arm bars and stuff. This is two people that hate each other's guts, and it comes through in every part of this match. Dakota Kai as a heel, I've been saying this on Graded every week. I'm really enjoying watching her evolve as a baddie. She does some really mean-spirited stuff in this, including at one point where she duct tapes Tegan Nox's hand to the turnbuckle outside and just kicks the life out of her until the duct tape rips off. Nox manages to counter this, manages to fight back, pulls out a chain from under the ring, and in a spot eerily similar to the one that happened at War Games, we see Tegan Nox tearing at the knee brace of Dakota Kai and just wailing on the knee brace, and she wraps the chain around her hand, just battering her with this chain. Shiniest Wizard smashes her in the face, and Tegan Nox says, oh no, I'm not done yet. Go to the exposition table, the table that was set up earlier on in this match. Rolls it back into the ring, and it looks like she's going to jump off the top rope and break Dakota Kai's neck. She's got the chair wrapped around Kai's neck. She's going to Pillmanize the bejesus out of her. That is, until Raquel Gonzalez turns up and stops the rot. And she ends up hoying Tegan Nox off the top, think meant to be through the table, but I don't know whether either the table was too busy being a table and didn't quite break, or whether Nox didn't hit it at the right place. I don't know, because Nox certainly got a lot of height when she was thrown off. The table didn't break and it looked pretty ugly. Nox looks like she banged the back of her head as opposed to just sort of crunching through the table. Dakota Kai crawls over and makes the cover to win this street fight. And Raquel Gonzalez holds up Dakota Kai's arm, and Kai just looks baffled by all of this, but it looks like Dakota Kai has got herself a bodyguard now. Giving this an A, I thought this was a solid match between two guys who are really coming a long, long way. Tegan Nox, they've clearly got massive plans for in WWE overall. And Dakota Kai, I am loving her heel work so much, and I think maybe having a bodyguard is going to be the missing piece of the puzzle for Dakota Kai. The finish was a shame because these guys really went for it, and I feel like the table not breaking, I think, let the finish down somewhat. But that's elemental, my dear Watson. Can't do much about that. This was still a great match. I'm giving it an A. We roll to Johnny Gargano versus Finn Bálor. We're finally getting this match. No injuries in the way for this one. Starts off with some supreme techers by Bálor and Gargano going back and forth. Starts to kick into high gear when Finn Bálor gets speared off the apron by Johnny Gargano, which rolls us into Act 2, which is far more brutal. We see Bálor just arrogantly working over Gargano at some points, and Gargano constantly fighting back from underneath against this well-equipped Finn Bálor. Gargano fights on despite Bálor really wrecking his knee during the second part of this match. At one point, Bálor goes for a coup de grace as Gargano's leaning over the ropes. Gargano sees it coming, springs back up, hits a springboard DDT over the rope for a 2.999 on Bálor. And from here, and it is round about here that you feel the tide turn in this match. Not in ring, but in the crowd, as we hear boos for Gargano as he's getting back on offense. These are extremely prevalent when the fight falls to the outside, and we see Gargano hit the John Woo drop kick on Finn Bálor into the guardrail, echoing what Bálor did to him on NXT TV, but this causes boos from the crowd. And Gargano knows that he's got Bálor beaten, but he goes, oh no, I want to inflict some more damage. Puts him onto the table. Bálor fights back, stops himself from any more assault, climbs onto the other announce table and hits a John Woo dropkick across the announce tables that kicks Gargano into the barricade. Oh, this looked brutal. Back in the ring, we see old coup de grace, 1916, 1, 2, 3, and Finn Bálor cleanly defeats Johnny Gargano. And at the end of the match, Bálor is just talking some dirt to Gargano. Your mother was a hamster and smells of elderberries, giving him all this. Probably not saying that. This was an A+. This was outstanding. It was about half an hour long, and it was just a beautifully built match. It felt like 3 acts. It did, and everything told a really wonderful story. The crowd turning on Gargano was an interesting little element, and when we consider where we go later on, it's even more interesting. But I really love this match. Bálor was just at his best here. Balor's having fun at NXT, and these two just beautifully work well together. The NXT Women's Championship is on the line next, as is presumably, possibly, maybe, definitely might be a match at WrestleMania for the winner. It's Bianca Belair challenging Rhea Ripley for the title. Belair just looks great, walking down to the ring with such swagger. She's got a Flair-esque robe on, and I'm sure that obviously robes were existing before Rick and Charlotte Flair, but there's a mind game thing there which I think they're playing on. This amazing robe that says Black History in the Making, where of course it's Black History Month, and it's all over Bianca Belair's gear. Like, you really get the feeling that maybe this is going to be Belair's moment. This is going to be it. These two are intense. Like, they have themselves a really heavy battle, quite a snug battle. There's not just some really heavy punches and kicks, but there's just a real simple bit which really resonates with the crowd, where we see Ripley on the top rope and she slaps the taste out of Bianca Belair's mouth. And Belair reels from this and gives it the whole, no, you did not. slaps her right back, then slaps her with her hair, which makes a cracking whipping sound, and then military presses her off the top rope. It was a real simple bit that really just brought the crowd into the match. These two are really well matched throughout the whole thing. Like, there's some great near falls throughout this, but the finish itself actually comes out of nowhere, as we see Rhea Ripley going for a sunset flip bomb in the corner, but Belair, who is strong as an ox, is holding on, and it's not going anywhere, So Rhea Ripley adjusts herself, puts Belair in a pump handle position, and hits the Riptide, and covers her. 1, 2, 3. Genuinely, the crowd, even Mauro Ranallo's commentary suggests that he wasn't expecting that to be the finish. Like, it felt very sudden. But Ripley wins the match, and as the ref's holding a hand up, who's this? Oh my God, it's the Queen! Charlotte Flair knocks Ripley from behind, officially accepts the challenge at WrestleMania to Rhea Ripley for the NXT Women's Championship, drops her with a natural selection, and then, and this suggests that there is more story to tell, as Charlotte is getting out of the ring, she sees Bianca Belair outside, just throws her into the steel steps, and then just kicks some imaginary dust over Bianca Belair. Like, real nasty move. Real, like mentally nasty move. I don't think Ripley is done in this little mix-up yet. Giving the match an A. I loved it. I thought these two really, really worked well together. I'd have liked another 7 minutes, maybe another 10. Give them a bit longer, and I think it would have been even better. It probably would have been an A+. A lot of people feel like this should have been Bianca Belair's night, when you consider, like, it was like she had Black History Month regalia on, and it very much felt like this should have been her night, and it wasn't. And there is that concern when you get someone like that if you don't eventually give them the win, then people are going to stop believing them. We call it here at Cultaholic the Lex Luger philosophy, whereby if you don't give them the win eventually, people stop buying that they can do it. And I'm nervous that we're at that point nearly with Bianca Belair, but not quite. I don't think she's out of the picture, as I said, in the WrestleMania title match yet. I don't think she is. There was very much a poignant moment between Charlotte and Belair. Whether we get a one-on-one match between them on the road to WrestleMania, can't say I'd be upset with that. I don't know. Maybe make it a triple threat at WrestleMania. I'd prefer that. But let's see where we go. Nothing was lost by defeat for Belair, though, with the exception of maybe that tiny bit of doubt that maybe she can't win the big one. Apart from that tiny bit, like, she looked competitive. Giving it an A all the same. These two are great. BroserWeights versus the Undisputed Era now for the NXT Tag Team Championships. I was a bit harsh on the Matt Riddle, Pete Dunne, Road to Portland skits from last week. I've watched them again, and I've enjoyed them more than I did before. I may retroactively change the grade at some point. But in this, like, Matt Riddle is desperate to get over this how much fish could Bobby Fish fry if Bobby Fish could fry fish thing. So he has the t-shirt on with the thing on, he had the hat, he led the crowd in the chant, we had the words appear along the screen. But what I noticed was that Bobby Fish got everyone singing it. As soon as Bobby Fish started singing it, they almost immediately stopped. So he went, let's do it again. Sang it a bit, stopped. One more time. Did it again, stopped. And despite the shirts, the chant, the visual imagery on the screen, the face morph of Bobby Fish on an actual fish on the Titantron, I don't think this got over to the extent that Matt Riddle wanted it to. You know, stop trying to make fetch happen, is what I would say. But anyway, all this got the dander up at the Undisputed Era. They met them in the rampway, and the fight started there, and the match got underway. As for the match itself, of course it was great. It's all been great tonight. Undisputed Era wear down Pete Dunne once this match properly gets into the rigors. But Dunne makes the tag to Matt Riddle, and where Matt Riddle is the house of fire in this match, fighting against both Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, he looked like a star. Like, everything he was hitting was crisp and hot. The crowd were into him. In fact, there were points that, like, everybody played their part in this match, but I think this was a showcase night for Matt Riddle. Like, everything he did I thought looked great, apart from the how many fish could Bobby Fish fry bit. I'm sure I'm wrong on that. I'm sure it'll catch on. But Riddle looks solid. Absolutely solid. They all did. Finish came when we see Pete Dunne defy the odds and kick out of Chasing the Dragon. And it was a kick out that just lit the room up. Absolutely lit the room up. Riddle and Dunne fight back into it. We see the Bro to Sleep Enziguri combo for the 1, 2, 3. And we have new tag team champions. It's the BroserWeights. They celebrate with the belts and all is right with the world, giving this an A. This was solid tag team wrestling. I'm sad the Undisputed Era's reign is over because they have just been the backbone of the tag team division in NXT. And I'm sure they will continue to be that as well, but their reign has just been pretty much flawless. For Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne, big old shoes to fill. I'm intrigued to see what they will do, but this was a great start for them. Solid tag team match. Bang. Main event o'clock, and it's not so much an NXT Championship match, it is the custody battle for Goldie. Tommaso Ciampa fighting Adam Cole. Starts slow, methodical, like Cole seems to get rattled early on because he can't quite find an answer to Ciampa. And the early stages are well built and slow and paced. They kicks in when we get outside the ring and we see Ciampa like giving Adam Cole like multiple knees in the face from multiple different positions. Cole manages to turn the tide on this. There's a real cringy point outside where we see Adam Cole do a wheelbarrow suplex onto Ciampa, and he hits the back of his head on the announce table, and we know the neck problems that Ciampa's had. And it made me go a bit, didn't like. Ciampa fights back though, his neck is absolutely fine, and Ciampa gets back into this match once it gets back into the ring. We see Ciampa hit 2 stunning air raid crashes, one off the top rope avalanche style, and one as a counter to the Panama Sunrise on the apron. And shortly after this, Ciampa fighting back once again outside the ring, hits a huge old power bomb on Cole through the announce table. Shortly after this bit, the match is back in the ring, and Undisputed Era turn up to play silly buggers, and Ciampa is just fighting everything now. He is kicking out of all the shenanigans that's being thrown at him by the Era. He's fighting them all off. He busts out a blimmin' twisting senton to wipe out some of them outside the ring. He's fighting everybody off until the referee gets knocked down. And he manages to keep them at bay. He even manages to hit the fairy tale ending on Adam Cole, but there's no ref to count. Johnny Gargano suddenly appears outside the ring and he's cheering on Ciampa. He's trying to motion to him to pick up Goldie, the championship belt that's on the canvas in the ring. As Ciampa goes over to get it, Gargano snatches the belt away, thinks on it for a second, and then boop, clocks Ciampa in the face with Goldie, which leaves Adam Cole to roll over and get the 1, 2, 3. Johnny heel turn! Oh my god! Or is it? We'll talk about it in a bit. For this match, it's an A+. I've seen a lot of people online talking about how some felt there were too many false finishes in this match. I think that's kind of feels like main event NXT style. I didn't feel like it was too much. I thought it was a lot, don't get me wrong, but I didn't feel like it was too much. I thought these guys had a well-paced, well-timed match. The finish surprised me, but didn't. Very rarely does Mauro Ranallo step out on commentary and I go, ooh, kind of called it a bit too soon there, in my opinion. But when Gargano snatched the belt away, there's Mauro going, oh, they're former tag champs, they've had a bit of a history together. I'd have said nothing. I'd have let that play out, in my opinion. That kind of called it a bit for me. But the Gargano heel turn, I'm all right with it, because you think about it, Ciampa was horrible to Gargano last year, and it can't just be like, oh, okay, we're friends now, it's all fine. You know, I'm ready to see this match at a WrestleMania weekend, but with the roles reversed, which I think is where we are going. And the show ends with Cole and Undisputed Era still got 1 belt between them, and I think that's a nice way to go into TakeOver Tampa Bay. A+ for the main event. And I'm giving NXT TakeOver Portland an A+ overall. I know you must think it's boring to sit and watch somebody go, oh, I love NXT, everything gets an A. I genuinely felt like this was one of the best NXT takeovers. In-ring quality-wise, it was. Everything felt big. Like, everything was well put together. There was a couple of blunders in there, but hardly any. Like, I've had to be really cruel on some cases, but I thought it was a solid takeover show, and we've got some really nice seeds planted going forward for other things. And I'm ready for TakeOver Tampa Bay. Bring that noise on, because that's what you've got to beat now. 6 hellaciously good matches. Have fun with that. Love you, bye. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. You can support us on Patreon by going to patreon.com/Cultaholic. Lastly, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us.